Well, this pottery in particular is I generally refer to it as kind of mid-century American pottery. And the oldest there's probably some 1910, 1920 pieces in there, and it goes up to the 60s and the 70s. And there's probably maybe 10 different pottery companies or so represented up here. Most of it is McCoy pottery, which a lot of vintage folks would be familiar with. And the McCoy pottery companies were active for several decades in the United States. And then there's, just some USA pottery that you really can't tell what manufacturer did it. There's a company called Hager Pottery that was active outside. I think their factory was outside of St. Louis, and they just closed within the last 10 years. So they were active for a long time. And this is a wide array of manufacturers and makers, and I'm not really particular about the maker. I don't have anything contemporary up here, nothing new, so it's kind of all vintage. Mm-hmm. But I started buying. I don't really know what attracted me to this, other than it was inexpensive at first. When I started this collection 20 years ago, and you could buy pieces for $4 or $5 at antique stores and flea markets, and you still can. It's a little more expensive generally now, and certainly some of these pieces are pretty valuable, in the hundreds of dollars. I saw there's I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but there's a piece above me that has some fins on it. It looks like kind of an Art Deco tall piece that's probably from the 20s, I think, or the 30s. A piece of that sold on eBay recently for about $800. So they're, so some of them are, and just like most antiques, the prices go up and down over time. So that's this collection, and then it just became, I was storing it, and when I would find it, I would purchase it, and I kind of had a mental catalog of what I had, and when I build a collection, I usually buy cheap pieces first, and then if I see that I'm going to have, a pretty extensive collection, then I'll try to fill in with some more, marquee pieces or rare pieces, which are more expensive. My recommendation is to never start a collection by buying the most expensive piece first, because you don't know if you're going to continue. But if you want to fill your collection out after you have spent time getting sort of the volume that you need to make a statement, then it's kind of nice to add some more expensive pieces, and that's what I did here.